Hello everybody, get ready to do lesson 11.2 part 2 of grade 6 math today. And 11.2 part 2, we got 26 points on your classwork sheet, and then 12 points will go into your notebook or notebook guide. Students, put your name, date, period here, due date here for onliners and homeschool. Let's go right into page 1 in your notebook entry. Using subtraction to solve equations. Removing the same number of tiles from each side of an equation, Matt, models subtracting the same number from both sides of an equation. So the subtraction property of equality, you can subtract the same number from both sides of an equation, and the two sides will remain equal. So as long as you do the same thing to both sides of an equation, it still remains equal. So when an equation contains addition, solve by subtracting the same number from the both sides. So okay, well that's a subtraction property of equality for an equation. Example 1. So solve the equation a plus 15 equals 26. Graph the solution on a number line. Okay, so a plus 15 equals 26. How do we solve that? Notice that the number 15 is added to a, so we add a plus 15. We have an addition sign here. A plus 15 equals 26. So a plus 15 equals 26. Now we can subtract 15 from both sides. So when we subtract 15 here, this goes away. And what we do on this side, we have to do on this side of your equal sign, right? So when we do that, subtract 15 from both sides of an equation, and then we get a equals 11. So a equals 11 here. 15 minus 15 is 0. And then 26 minus 15 equals 11. And we're just left with a equals 11. That's our solution. Check. A plus 15 equals 26. So plug in 11 for a. Does 11 plus 15 equal 20? It does. It certainly does, so it checks. Okay, does 26 equal 26? It does. Add on the left side, we get 26 equals 26. Graph the solution on a number line. So here's our number line. So we're going to graph our solution here. Here's 11. Here is 11 there. So here's our solution to that equation is 11. So we're going to do a reflection here. Communicate mathematical ideas. How do you decide which number to subtract from both sides? So what would be a good answer for that? How do you decide? How do you decide which number to subtract? Subtract the number added to the variable so that the variable is isolated or alone on one side of the equation. That's how you decide. It's just like before, is a plus 11 equals 26, right? We subtracted 11 from both sides, and then we just a equals whatever that happened on the right side. Let's try one now. Your turn. So to solve the equation, 5 equals w plus 1.5. So on a number line, which we have here, w will equal what? So how do we isolate w? We got to subtract 1.5. Well, this is your turn, students. I'm going to let you do this, okay? Teachers, give your students about 30 seconds to solve this one. Okay, welcome back, and you should get 3.5. Why? Because we subtracted 1.5, this goes away. We're just left with 11. And what's 5 minus 1.5? It's 3.5, correct? So on the number line, it's 3.5. Here's 3.5 on a number line. Here's your solution for this equation here. Using addition to solve equations. When an equation contains subtraction, solve by adding the same number to both sides. So addition property of equality. You can add the same number to both sides of an equation and the two sides will remain equal. So as long as you add the same number to both sides of an equation, the two sides will remain equal. You can still an equal sign. So we're going to try that now. Example 2, solve the equation y minus 21 equals 18. Graph the solution on a number line. So y minus 21 equals 18. Y minus 21 equals 18. Notice that the number 21 is subtracted. So this is a negative 21 here. Y minus 21, same thing as y and a negative 21 equals 18. So how do we solve for y here? So we're going to add 21. We're going to get rid of this negative 21 by adding positive 21 to both sides. So add 21 to both sides of the equation. And then when we do that, 21 and a negative 21 is 0. So we have 0. And then 21 plus 18 equals what? It equals 39. So y now equals 39. So we're going to use our check. Y minus 21 equals 18. So what value for y will make this equation valid? So to do that, we're going to check. 39, does 39 minus 21 equal 18? So substitute 39 for y. We're going to check our solution. Does 18 equal 18, students? Graph the solution on a number line. So 18 on a number line. Oh, how's that going to be? Here's 39 here. Well, we know that. Here's 39 on a number line. Okay, so moving into another reflect page, communicate mathematical ideas. How do you know whether to add or on both sides or subtract on both sides when solving an equation? How do you know whether to add or subtract on both sides? If the equation contains an addition, subtract. If the equation contains subtraction, add. So that's how you know. You just do the inverse or the reverse or the inverse of whatever is added to your variable. And then you'll isolate your variable, and then you can solve for your variable. Okay, your turn here. Solve the equation h minus 1/2 equals 3/4. And then h up here will equal what, students? Teachers, give your students some time to do that. Graph the solution on a number line. So graph your solution here. Teachers, give your students about 2 minutes for that. So how do you isolate h minus 1/2? You have a negative here. So what's the inverse or the opposite of negative? It's an addition, right? So you got to add 1/2 to both sides. Once you add 1/2 to both sides, you end up with 5/4 or 1 1/4 for both sides. 1/2, which is the same thing as 2/4. You add that 2/4 over both sides, and you get h equals 5/4 or 1 1/4, and 1 1/4 would be what? Right about here. So there's your solution on a number line. And that is your 11.2 part 2 lesson for grade 6 math today. For course materials or questions, email me at animatedpowerpointmathvideo@aol.com. Thank you very much.